Hello everyone, welcome to CollectAWrestlePalooza. This week's edition is going to be a recent pickups video where I showcase a few cards that I bought recently on eBay. We're going to be looking at a Hulk Hogan autograph, a card from 1955, and a few UFC cards that I've purchased along the way. Now the hobby is in a little bit of a lull, but don't get discouraged. This is an opportunity to buy. Don't think that this is the end of wrestling cards. They're just getting started.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
Alright everyone, let's get started. We're going to start on the far left with the Hulk Hogan Living Legends card. This is obviously autographed, rated by PSA as an authentic auto. This is from 1990. It's an unlicensed card. There's very little information about it on the web. It's just called the Orange Series. If you know anything about this set, please comment and let me know. But as far as I can tell, there are 19 cards in the series. There's only one Hulk Hogan, and he represents the only wrestler in this card set. There are multiple Michael Jordans, there are Bo Jacksons, David Robinsons, some of the stars of the time in the early 90s, Joe Montana's, a Larry Bird, etc. The raw cards don't come up very often on eBay, and they're usually priced between $15 and $30 raw of the Hulk Hogan. I bought this one because, of course, it's autographed, and I like the image. I think the silver autograph looks great on the dark background. And I'd rather have a card signed by Hogan that's a classic older image than one on one of his newer photographs. The back of the card here, you can see, is pretty plain. Just says Living Legends, Hulk Hogan. Second card is a 1955 Parkhurst Prince Maiava wrestling card in a PSA 3, which is very good. There are 121 cards in the Parkhurst 1955 wrestling set. There's only about 2,000 cards total rated by PSA from this series. Mostly are in the 3 to 6 range because it is, of course, an older vintage card, and there's no PSA 10s. Now, this is not Peter Maiava, who's the grandfather of The Rock. There's some confusion about that when you read about this card set on the web. This is Neff Maiava, who inspired Peter Maiava to take that surname. He did, however, tag with Peter from time to time. Now, Neff, who is Prince on this card, was the first Samoan wrestling star. He was the predecessor to the Wild Samoans, tag teams like that, and of course many other Samoans throughout the history of wrestling. But Prince, or Neff, was the first Samoan, and he also was the first one to use the headbutt as a strong maneuver. Third card here is a 99 Superfight card, and this features an image from the match between the great Muta and the great Nida from August 28th of 1999. I got this card shipped directly from Japan. It's in great shape, and on the back of the card, there's an image of the famous exploding ring from this match. Of course, the text is all in Japanese. This is from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Difficult to find those cards in the States. Next card here is a 2010 Topps UFC matte Relic card featuring the great Anderson Silva, the Spider, who is also, in my opinion, the GOAT. Now, this is a thick card, and it is numbered, a short print, to 288, and it contains a piece of the mat from UFC 117. Now, this is the same mat that saw the famous 5-round battle between Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen that famously ended with an arm triangle at the end of round 5, with Silva tapping out Sonnen. Now, Sonnen was clearly in the lead in this match, and Silva cemented his status as the GOAT by tapping him out at the last minute. This is also the bout that Silva made as a feature in his documentary, Like Water. You can see on the back here, it does mention that this relic contained on this card came specifically from UFC 117. The other thing I like about it is, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but you can see some wear on that mat, whether it's some dirt or some blood or we don't know. But on the silver side of the mat, you can definitely see that this was match used and the fighters were directly on it. This is number 70 out of 288. And the final card I'll be featuring today is a 2009 Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir Round 1 Tops card. People are sleeping on this card, but it's arguably one of the most important cards in the UFC series. The Round 1 is one of the most important sets of MMA cards. I got mine for less than $10, but these cards are now going for $25 to $50, the Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir cards. And this one is in great condition. The UFC Round 1 set, of course, is the first MMA set that exists, so these are all rookie cards. But the other nice thing about the Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir card in particular, it's one of the only cards from the series to feature two prominent fighters both on the same cards, and two heavyweight champions both on the same card. And of course, this is also an important bout. This is Brock Lesnar's debut in the UFC. I think Brock Lesnar cards are underrated anyway. They're going to continue to go up in value because he is, of course, a crossover star. Very popular not only in the UFC, but in the WWE. You can see on the back of the card some information about the fighters and about the bout as well. If you do find that these videos are useful, if you get something out of them, please be sure to like and subscribe. That does go a long way, encouraging me to continue to make this weekly content. Thank you again. Have a great week.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.